Looking for the king of podcasts? You're at the wrong channel. Looking for good ideas for life? You are far from good hands. If you think the listener is always right, you are far from the right place. Hosted by a Northeasterner by birth, a rebel by choice. If you want a host that floats between love and madness, then play on and listen to Crazy Train Radio.
What up? Excuse me while I whip this out. Oh, gnarly! Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
And good evening, friends.
Hey, it's Croc. How we all doing today? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Crazy Train Radio. Just want to give a heads up about our guest today, as promised, Mr. Arkansas Fred Barnett. That's right, for you football fans, he is known for some of the most acrobatic catches during his playing days from 1990 to 97. Played for the Philadelphia Eagles, Miami Dolphins. He was a third-round draft pick in 1990 by the Philadelphia Eagles, who were led by Buddy Ryan and some offensive guru on the field named Randall Cunningham. 1992 Pro Bowler, he was known for an amazing 95-yard touchdown catch from Randall against the Bills after he was in the end zone for avoiding some guy named Bruce Smith, who I think is a Hall of Famer. Reason Fred is going to be calling in is because of a documentary he was a part of called Where's Daddy? His involvement, I think, is very entertaining, but also brings a different perspective because he had a good relationship with his ex-wife and was able to work and still work as a team when parenting his twins, as he will mention in the interview, are 17 and get ready to go off to college in September. But the movie Where's Daddy tends to show the different stereotypes and all, but Fred's story in terms of the movie will show, I guess, not that I've ever been divorced, but a positive spin on things. So why don't we take a break real quick and we will get the commercials out of the way, then we will jump into our interview with Fred about the documentary and a little football talk.
Hey, this is Tiffany, and you're listening to Crazy Train Radio.
As you know, for today's contempt hearing, Mr. Tate, you had to show that you did not deliberately disobey the court's order to pay child support for your 3 children. You had to convince me you're not as irresponsible as you appear.
The child support system, it revels in dysfunction. What you have are people like myself who've never been locked up before, but all of a sudden you find yourself in prison.
The child support system, even though it doesn't target an individual, what it does, it puts a price on an individual's head, and you provide this money or else you're a deadbeat father.
There was one point where they was fining me $100 a day to bring in some information that I knew nothing about.
One thing I think a lot of guys don't do is when they're faced with an issue or faced with a dilemma or even a choice, what are the things that could possibly go wrong?
If you have a relationship with someone and it is a negative, there's negative interactions there, then I would learn I don't like these qualities.
Make sure you take care of your children. And a lot of kids out here think their fathers don't love them, and don't want to be with them, but it's not the father all the time.
Your father could give you this, give you that, but that time spent is more valuable than some little bit of money that you get.
And the mother wants to be vindictive and try to hurt you, and doesn't keep in mind the child's being hurt even more than the man. I've got a 22-year-old son. We're just patching our ways now.
There's been times where I've had to walk across the Ben Franklin Bridge just to save $5 in bus fare to get to my daughter.
I remember I would go in the bottom dollar, and I had $13, man. I had to feed him that night, and I had to pack lunch for the next day. It was just rough. It was real rough, you know. So the first time I ever let that out.
Barring the idea that, okay, it's his fault, there's been a systematic plan to strip the black man of self. It's systematic.
I can say that I've not been everybody's favorite person in this journey, but the reality of it is that I'm still here.
With over 30 years of experience and a superb reputation for being a detail-oriented company, Lacey Cleaning has some of the highest work standards in the cleaning business.
That's the fact, Jack!
Whether it's carpet cleaning, tile, grout cleaning, new construction cleanup, rental turnovers, vent and duct cleaning, odor elimination, office and or business cleaning, power washing, residential cleaning, you name it, they do it. Woo! Check them out. To contact them today, laceycleaning@gmail.com or call them at 609-709-8536.
That's what I'm talking about.
Are you annoyingly even keel? E-methamine could be right for you.
I have a disease, all right? I need help.
E-methamine lets you get gagged up on whooped chicken parts without yellowing one's teeth.
Yeah!
Contact your doctor today if you experience the following.
Oh my God.
Increases in blood flow, boost in testosterone, ending of erectile dysfunction.
You're naughty.
This medicine is made for extreme cases of being even keel or having extreme depression.
Oh, come on.
Side effects include fits of rage, acne, bleeding in folks around you, whooping cough, hallucinations, comas, trouble swallowing, decrease in semen, increase in amounts of selling yourself, amnesia, night terrors, higher mortgage rates, and increased sensations in not having suicidal urges.
Oh my.
What's up, Doc?
I'll tell you what's up. Based out of Atlantic City, New Jersey, Geek Time Entertainment runs exclusively along with different events in the area to strategize with their partners who will benefit with increased exposure and patron traffic.
Oh, no.
Geek Time Entertainment will work with your event in increasing the event's traffic via social media, radio, and storefront advertisements.
Holy cow!
Also, they will help increase business for your company and event with different sales incentives.
Duh.
Whether your event will be small or even mid-scale, Geek Time Entertainment is the group to work with.
That's what I'm talking about.
Contact them today at geektimeentertainment@gmail.com or facebook.com/geektimeentertainment.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Hi, I'm Pat Williams of the Orlando Magic. Just a reminder, you're listening to the dulcet voices. Oh boy, Crazy Train Radio. There's nothing like it.
Third and 14. Well, Cunningham has to be real careful here not to just put it up for grabs. A turnover here will kill the Eagles.
And a sack in the end zone is not outside the realm of fun. Here comes Smith. There's Cunningham. Dodges left and puts it way downfield for Fred Barnett, who has the catch. And the race is on. There are no flags. A 95-yard touchdown.
receiver, and this type of play just defies description. Cunningham knows he's in trouble in the pocket. He knew that Bruce Smith was coming, and he just makes a play that only he can make. Boy, all the air's gone out of this stadium. And you know, they don't have a replay board here for these 80,000 folks. They're really going to have to wait till the 11 o'clock news to catch one of the great plays of all time.
95 yards, longest pass in the NFL this season. The second longest in Philadelphia history. Ron Jaworski to Mike Quick against the Falcons in 1985. 99 yards. And that was so near to being a safety.
That's a 9-point play is what it is. Cunningham will be looking at the rush almost immediately. He knows where he is on the football field, and then just watch his escapability. How does Smith miss him there with the left hand? And now his eyes go downfield looking for his receiver, and Barnett is way down there. He throws this ball again into the wind about 60 yards. There's the alley-oop. Jamie Williams can't make the play, and then that world-class feed of Barnett's, it's all over. The Eagles are in the end zone.
And I'm thinking back to something that Fred Barnett told us last night. After the workout in Philadelphia yesterday, Randall Cunningham called the two rookie wide receivers, Williams and Barnett, together and said, look, guys, you're going to be in this league for a long, long time, and I plan to be here for another 10 years. And together we work hard, we can become the team of the 90s.
The thing about Cunningham is he's so inspirational, and he really appreciates that effort of his young rookie. Outstanding play. I could watch that play 1,000 times. Smith had him dead in the end zone, took a swipe at him with his left arm. Cunningham ducks, gets out of trouble, throws the ball 60 yards down the field, and they get a touchdown.
And you know what else, Dan?
What?
There was no in the grass call.
On the phone right now was involved with the documentary Where's Daddy? But however, from what I had taken when I saw the film, he had a positive spin as far as being a father. Former Philadelphia Eagles receiver Fred Barnett. Fred, how are you doing?
Great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
No problem. Well, first of all, I want to start off just based on the emails we were exchanging and stuff. How was your travels to Texas?
Oh, it was good. I had a layover in St. Louis, but made it here and all settled in. So it's a little different weather than Philadelphia. It's about 80 degrees here. So I had to put my coat up once I got here. But it's a good change right now for me.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that. So, first question, I want to go with the documentary.
Sure.
How did you end up involved with the project?
Well, as a friend of mine actually is one of the executive directors, Maurice Floyd, and the director, Rael Dowdell, he was looking for, individuals to be in the documentary, individuals that people would possibly know. A-listers, B, C-listers. And Maurice told me about the documentary, and he told Rael that he knew me, and Rael, of course, wanted me in it. He knew that I had gone through a divorce and had, gone through the custody and the support and all that. So, of course, I thought it was a great idea. it was to some degree new information for me because it gave me a perspective on what a lot of men go through. Although I did not, I was fortunate not to be able to go through it to the extent of some of the men that were in the documentary, and to some of the people guys who are going through it now. But I think it was done very well, and I was just glad to be a part of it.
Now, for those who aren't familiar, how many kids you have?
I have my first marriage. I have twin daughters.
Okay.
And I'm married now for 10 years, and I have I don't have any more twins. I have two boys.
Okay.
So I have twin daughters that are 17, and I have a young boy that's 6, and I have a boy that's 1 year old.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Now, when you said you went to, and I also seen it on YouTube, a question and answer that you're a part of and all, that you mentioned there as well. You said that you had more of a positive experience as far as your divorce and custody and all that. And when most people hear positive, divorce, custody, just everything that goes with that kind of thing, what would you say yours was, you had a better outlook on how things went down with you?
Well, I think I had a better outlook because I learned very quick and let me say this, it could have went the other way. I think I learned very quick to take exactly what I want and my emotions out of it, and chose to put my kids' future and their emotions in it. And every time I talked to my ex, even though we weren't on good terms, when we kept our daughters in mind about when we talked, it just made it that much easier. And when I think the both of us, when we felt we did that, we thought at that point, it would be an easy transition for us. It'll be a little more easier for us. And we've had a number of talks. We had rather a number of talks when we were going through the divorce and going through the support. And I think we would remind each other each time. We're human just like anybody else. Feelings get hurt. When things change. But we would remind each other that really it's about the well-being of our daughters at that point. And I think that really helped the both of us have a positive experience, from, to some degree a negative experience. And that is, going through the separation, the divorce, and then the child support and the custody and all that. So it just kind of kept us accountable of being fair to one another, because we knew that, at the end of the day, it's really about, us making our daughters happy and what we could do to make our daughters happy. And I think we did a pretty good job of it. They are both, scholarship athletes that are going to University of Virginia this fall.
Nice. Now, obviously, I think I know the answer to this based on what you just said there. But when it came to issues with your children, and obviously you mentioned there that when it came to the girls, you're all about it. But was it easy for you to call the ex, or the ex to call you and say, hey, X, Y, and Z is going on with this one or that one, or both of them, or then have a discussion? How would we sort of co-parent, and how do we address this?
Yeah, yes, it was easy because, like I said, it was always really about them. And we would both call each other. And there were times when even when our custody was finalized and documented, that there are times that they would want to come and see me, and she allowed that to happen. And there were times when they would want to go and see her, and I allowed that to happen. Now, interestingly, that still didn't take the emotion out of it for them. Although they saw us to some degree on the same page, they still knew that mom and dad, mom was in one place and dad was another place. And that was a somewhat of a hill for both of us to climb, because, they became very emotional at times when, just sitting around watching TV and just, the thought that mom and dad is not together anymore. And that's something that I think, individuals have to be patient with the kids and understanding, and that, they feel the change just as much as you do. So you have to be very, very, you have to stay aware. You have to not pull them out of it so quick. Children are resilient, but at the same time too, you have to let them feel their emotion, and you have to just kind of hold their hands, as they get through it, whether they're running through it or whether they're walking through it. And of course, it takes time. It takes time, but the one thing that I think is very important is that both parents start at that point to create a very positive outlook for not only for themselves, but for the kids. So that the minute that, I was a single dad, I had to at that point, pull myself together and create a positive outlook for myself and for my kid. At the time she was a single mother, she had to create a positive outlook for herself and for the kid. And, I think that's very important, because, if you're not healthy, you can't help anybody. So I think that was a very important piece to it as well, and that, we were very adamant about, creating, making that change and accepting that change and being positive about it. And, as I mentioned, when things like that happen, when a divorce happens, when, the arguments and, there are emotions involved, and we're human. But at the same time, too, if you have something to support in terms of kids and even yourself, that just gives you a different outlook on it.
Well, how would you say, because obviously you try to be a good father for your daughters, but how would you say your relationship is with your girls?
Oh, it's a great relationship. It's a great relationship, and through that, it's taken a lot of patience and taken a lot of understanding. I think it's a great relationship, and it takes time. My daughters are now 17 years old, and when we told them we were getting divorced, they were 6.
Wow.
And so that was a very, emotional time for them. And, unfortunately, it's something that had to a degree, had to be explained at their level. It didn't have to be extensive, but they still knew their mom and dad wasn't going to be together. So, interestingly, there are things that went on in their head that they weren't talking about, and eventually they started to, voice their opinion about, what was going on or what they thought about it. And now, being 17 and coming to my house and on the phone with their mom, or me on the phone with them, at their mom's house. It's just, we're not one big happy family, but, they know that they have 2 parents that support them and are there for them and love them, and that'll never change.
Yeah. And, I want to go one last question on that.
Sure.
This topic and whatnot. And it happens a lot with, divorces and people moving on with their lives. You obviously mentioned there that you are now remarried and whatnot, have a lovely woman with you.
Yeah.
How did that affect the kids, that having another person come into Dad's life where it seemed like, oh, Dad's trying to replace Mom or whatever? You know what I mean? That so many different thoughts can go in kids' heads.
Oh yeah, for sure. That definitely had an effect. But one thing that was interesting is that my wife's name is Lindsay. Now, one thing that was interesting, and the relationship, first of all, takes time. And when you have a stepmother, stepdaughter, or stepson, stepfather, stepson relationship, that's a very interesting and to some degree vulnerable relationship, because you kind of come in with your guards up, and you just don't come in open arms usually. Even if it's literally that way, you still kind of have your guards up. Now, one interesting thing that I did with now my wife but at the time we were dating. And the minute that I proposed to her, well, actually it was before I proposed to her, when I felt that I would probably marry her, I had a conversation with her. And I told her, I said, look, Lindsay, I just want to let you know, of course, I love you. I feel like, we have a great relationship. And at one point, at some point, we're probably going to get married because we're serious. I said, but I need you to understand something. You are marrying someone with two beautiful daughters, and I need you to really understand, number one, where they are or where they could possibly be with you entering their lives. And I need you to give an effort in being their stepmom. I need you to not want to be their mother. I need you to understand that they have a mother. I said, but I do need you to be a positive influence, number one, on our relationship around them, and first and foremost, create a positive relationship with them. And I basically said, if you want me, you have to want them.
Yeah.
And if you don't want them, you cannot have me.
The package deal here.
It's a package deal. And I think too many times an individual who is connected or have a significant other, and that's and the significant other gives a demand that they don't want the kids around. For example, if Lindsay came to me and said, "Hey, I love you, but the kids I can't deal." Well, if you can't deal with the kids, you can't deal with me. So and that's something that was very important to me. Because I wanted my kids, and my kids are, to be in my life. I didn't want, to go on living my life or live another life without my kids involved. I didn't want to do that. And unfortunately, there are a lot of individuals who do that. I mean, think about the lady down in I think it was North Carolina, who drove the kids in the river because she had met someone and she didn't want the kid. He didn't want the kid. I mean, it's unfortunate. And that's when you're thinking about yourself, and your well-being and what's good for you when you're not putting the kids first.
Yeah. There's so many weird stories like that out there, and unfortunate stories as well, so.
Very unfortunate stories.
Yeah, so anyway, as far as the documentary goes, Where's Daddy? Check it out on Amazon. We're going to put the links for the movie at the bottom of all your links where you're hearing this. But if I can, Fred, for a few minutes, I want to ask you a couple football questions, obviously, if that's cool with you.
Sure.
Well, first and foremost, because I know you're from the Philadelphia area still, with the Birds winning the bowl this year, what was that like for you for having an association with the team and being a former player and whatnot?
Well, it was amazing. It was almost surreal, and we actually had an alumni party, trophy presentation with the team executives this past Tuesday. And just to see, them do this, and it was absolutely surreal. And there are a number of people, individuals congratulated me, and it's interesting that you say that I'm a part of it. There are a number of people started to congratulate me, after the Super Bowl, and I thought to myself, why are they congratulating me? I didn't do anything. And when I congratulated a couple of the players that are on the team via text, they text me back and say, "Hey, we did it for you." And I said, "Wow, that was amazing," and it just kind of let me know that what I thought wasn't true, that I was a part of it. And I remember even being watching the game. It was amazing because when they won, everybody and I was at a buddy's house. We were all jumping up, kind of celebrating. And I'm laughing and laughing and laughing. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, we won. And the next thing you know, I just started crying. I'm like, why am I crying? My goodness, it's like you just don't realize how connected you feel, and interesting how connected you are, rather. And interestingly, there are a number of fans who said the same thing, that they were so happy. Next thing you know, they start crying, and that just lets you know how how in tune and how connected the fan base is with the team, and how long they've been looking for something like this and wanting something like this. And, for those guys to go out and do it and not and to hold their heads up high, and even look at the fan bases, even the former players, and say, "Hey, we did it for Philadelphia. We did it for you guys." It's just remarkable. And this team this year was a very interesting team. I've been around Philadelphia since about 2001, since I've been back, 2002. And every year I've met some of the guys and been around practices and what have you. But this team, when I tell you, it's totally different. I mean, you have guys, I got a couple of guys' numbers, and I text them after the game, good game. They're like, "Thanks, Fred." And they just get back to you, and they're so personable. I mean, but we've gone to a couple of practices, and even the alumni, I talked to a couple of alumni, and they were like, "These guys seem so different and so genuine." So it's just amazing, that the attitude that they have on and off the field, and for them to go out and, for them to be nice guys and to go out and be tough guys, it's just amazing to see.
Yeah, and I know when I was watching a game and saw that the Birds were going to win and everything else like that, I couldn't help but to think of guys like yourself, Randall, Calvin Williams, Wes Hopkins, Reggie White, just down the line, all the great players that had association with the organization.
Yes.
But if there was this team that pulled it all together, they did it, but a lot of the history comes forward to you, and you go, wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So, obviously, as I mentioned right there, you played with a lot of studs when you had time in Philadelphia. Would you say Randall was probably the best out of all them, or hard to say?
Oh, it's so hard to say. I played with so many guys that were just talented, at their position. I mean, Reggie White. I mean, God bless his soul. Jerome Brown, the same. As you mentioned, Wes Hopkins. I mean, played with guys Herschel Walker. Those guys, it's just amazing to be a part of. It was amazing to be a part of something that you can always remember. And guys had, such interesting personalities, and I'm quite sure a lot of, players have the same experience that I did. I don't know about now because guys move around so much, but we had a interesting nucleus on our team, and unfortunately we didn't, bring home a Super Bowl. I think that year that we really thought we would do it, it was a year, I think it was 91 when Randall got hurt.
Yeah.
And that, of course, that set it all back. That set it back, 20 plus years. But, finally, they did it. I mean, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't, a lot of people interesting because there's so many people who thought, New England would win this game and even questioned just, the Eagles being there. And I would tell people, the Eagles didn't draw straws to get there. They beat the heck out of people getting there. And, got home field advantage and took care of business, even though they had a hurt quarterback, But, that just says a lot for the character of this team. That says a lot for the coaching staff. And it says a lot, really, for the motivation that they had in winning the Super Bowl.
Well, speaking of good coaches and great coaches, you played for some guy who's beloved, especially in the Philadelphia area. Not that he wasn't nationwide. Buddy Ryan. Do you have any good Buddy Ryan stories?
Oh, gosh. I have a ton of Buddy Ryan stories. Buddy, I can remember the first, it was maybe the fourth or fifth practice I was in. And there was a kid, I can't think of the kid's name, but I think he was a running back from Wyoming. I think he was a free agent. And Buddy wasn't an offensive coach. He was a defensive coach. So he rarely, he would, of course, come to the offensive side and just kind of watch us do our thing, and he would have some input here and there. So, all right, what is he supposed to do? What is he doing? Yeah. So I can remember we were going through a running drill, and the receivers were out. We were out of the drill. We were just kind of standing there. I remember Calvin and I, so we were rookies, right?
Yeah.
And this kid ran the play, and he messed it up. And he ran it again. He messed it up again. And our running back coach, I think it's Dick Woods at the time. Dick was like, no. Like I told you the first time. Buddy was like, wait a minute. he messed it up again? And he's like, yeah. And Buddy, he sat there and he shook his head. Now, we had a player personnel guy by the name of Joe Woolley. Now, he runs this play the third time, and he messes it up again. And we're like, just kind of shaking our head. And Buddy says, that's it, process. And we're like, process him? What does he mean? And Joe Woolley came and took the kid off the field and cut him. And we were like, oh my God, he just got cut. But he didn't even wait till after practice. He cut him on the field. And we were like, and so we were like, oh my God. So at that point, we were just walking on eggshells, like, we're rookies. So it's like, how do you cut somebody right on the field? So that, along with so many other stories, and Buddy was the type of guy, if you belong there, you would be there. Period. Yeah. It's not about how good of a guy you are. It's like, if you can play football, you're on the team. But if you can't play football, I don't care if you're made a goal, you're not going to be on the team if you can't play. And that was who he was. It was business. And that's what it is today. It's still what it is.
Exactly. Well, my final question for you, Fred, and Danielle, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, but you said you came back to town in 2001, and I've had the fortunate pleasure of meeting a lot of athletes and celebrities and whatnot because of the show and otherwise. But when you came back to town in Philadelphia, what was it, and especially in in the Philadelphia region, a lot of former athletes stay or come back after a bit and want to live their lives here post-career. What is it about the Philadelphia area that you said, I have to make this home?
Well, interestingly, as a matter of fact, one of the reasons I came back was when my first wife and I separated. As a matter of fact, we were in Tennessee at the time. My mom was in Memphis, Tennessee, and we were in a suburb called Germantown, Tennessee. And my wife at the time went to work in D.C., and I felt that, I wasn't going to go to D.C., wasn't going to go to Virginia. Why don't I go somewhere where I know people know me? I definitely didn't want to go back to Mississippi. That's where I'm from. And so I felt that D.C. was close to, or Philadelphia was close to D.C., so I decided to come back to Philadelphia. And, I started, when I came back, I, made connections with the team, let the team know I was back, and started doing some stuff kind of, with them, with the suite holders, and just, keeping myself busy. And, a few years later, about 3 years later, maybe 4 years later, I met my now wife. So it just, it turned out to be, a great decision in coming back. And I've always loved Philadelphia. Philadelphia is to some degree black and white in terms of, if you were a player that was loved and did the right thing, they loved you. And if you screwed up, they didn't love you. So, I was able to, walk the streets and everybody, like, hey, I remember you, with a smile, or rather than, the opposite. So, I felt like to some degree I made a positive stamp on the city, and once I got back, I was well accepted.
Yeah, and what you just said there is so true. But whether guys or gals had a good day or a bad day on the field, the Philadelphia fans, I can say this, sports fans, hell, probably even chess players, if the fans will tell you, if they know you put a good effort in, they got your back, like you said.
Oh yeah.
But the ones that didn't, you know this from being a guy who was from Mississippi and not from the area, they will sniff you out if.
Oh yeah. Yes, they will.
You're putting on a front. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Fred, do you have any social media or anything like that to keep fans up to date of what's going on in your world?
Well, I have some social media, and as a matter of fact, I have a Instagram. It's under Hit Me, I'm Open.
Okay.
And I'm on Facebook, but I mean, there's some things that I'm doing kind of on and off the field. Right now, I'm working for my wife. She has a corporate event planning company in Bermuda, so I'm kind of in and out of Philadelphia. But I did start a kind of a fan Instagram that's that's called Hit Me, I'm Open, and I post some pictures of the trophy. I think I was holding the trophy in one of my last pictures, and just some old memorabilia stuff that I got, and I've accumulated a few fans, and it continues to grow every day.
Nice. Well, as we stated at the beginning of the interview here, Where's Daddy? Amazon.com. Click the links below, or from wherever you downloaded this from. Fred, thank you so much, and
thanks for having me.
Travel.
Thinking your day is bad and really looking to make it worse? Why not try downloading this new classic set of music that will be dropping so far off the charts there's bound to be injuries. Now that's what I call depressing. It's gonna make those who are even close to having the slightest glimmer of hope wanna jump off the highest of planks. For those that are getting Now That's What I Call Depressing, you'll be getting that song that reminds you of that relationship with those cougars, Wrinkled Ladies. For those who weren't really into cougars, but those who had that special friend whilst in cell block 2B, we got for you this clusterfuck that will put you in therapy for years to come. With cheeks wide open. Who the fuck writes this shit? Oh hell, we're still recording this commercial.
Always with you, it cannot be done.
Those that rather have it out than in. This loaded hit will be dropping soon, farthing in the USA. For those who place their order by calling or ordering online, the next 100 folks will receive their choice of either a noose of good quality that won't snap, an installation of a new outlet next to your bathtub so you can now blow dry your hair in a full tub. Or the choice of the right gang to just beat the fuck out of you. Call us today at 1-800-FUCK-THIS.
Not all football helmets are created equal. Zenith, The industry leader in protective technology is the only helmet in the game with adaptive head protection featuring a shock suspension system that can move independently from the helmet shell. Headquartered and developed in Detroit, Zenith is committed to player safety and revolutionary innovation. Zenith is proud to protect athletes at every level from Pee Wee to the pros. Learn more about the Zenith difference at zenith.com. That's XENITH.com.
How's it going, guys? This is Amy Dumas. You guys might know me as Lita, and you are listening to Crazy Train Radio.